Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick, and better late than never, our review of Thor Ragnarok.
So you're probably wondering why maybe we're doing this a week later. Honestly, we really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, but Marvel movies are all just blending in together now, and it's really hard reviewing them in my opinion.
Yeah.
So this movie, Loki and Thor are brought back together, which I got a little confused in the movie, I'm not gonna lie. I could not remember Thor, the second Thor. What was it called?
Yeah, Thor the Dark World. I know I probably should have watched it before to really get back into the whole swing of things, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't really remember that movie, and I didn't care for that movie. So it does kind of rely a little bit on knowing more of Thor's storyline with Asgard and Loki and Odin, which it's not super complicated, but there were times where I would have definitely benefited from watching The Dark World just recently.
Yes, I was a little lost, and it's just because of the time span on when that last movie came out to this one. It's been a little gap. So, honestly, it is a lot of fun. I would suggest go see it. Thor, it's a funny movie. They literally took off from the Guardians movies and made a Thor comedy movie.
Yeah, I would have to say they did. The one thing I really like about this movie is it did decide to kind of give up on what they did in Dark World and a little bit what they did with the first Thor. Even though I like the first Thor, they decided to commit to that funny Marvel formula of Guardians, which I think is really enjoyable. I like watching movies like that. It helps with the pacing of a movie that's this long.
Say goodbye to Thor's love relationship with Jane. That is out the door in this one, which I'm actually kind of happy for because that was just so not necessary in the other ones.
Yeah, I have to say this movie, while I don't think it's perfect, I do think it is probably the best in the Thor franchise. I do really enjoy the first one. It's very close. It's just much better than the second one, so much better than the second one. I personally think the second one might be close to the bottom, if not the worst Marvel movie in the MCU.
I like seeing Jeff Goldblum in this movie. He plays Jeff Goldblum in the movie, which is pretty fantastic. Yeah,
there's some really good comedic performances in the movie. While it's kind of strange that this movie does go full comedy, when you haven't seen Thor, you've seen Thor be funny, but basically he's essentially a comedian in this movie. And there's some really funny lines with him. There's really funny lines with the Hulk, and especially Jeff Goldblum's a real scene stealer, as most people probably know by now.
I do feel like this movie, to me, was a little overhyped. I saw so many people saying it's the best Marvel movie. I'm actually really conflicted. I don't know where it stands in the Marvel movie universe for me, personally.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. I do think this movie, while it is a good movie, I'm not going to say it's a bad movie. It's not even an average movie. It's a good movie. It isn't the best Marvel movie, and in my opinion, it probably isn't even top 5, maybe 5, but it's definitely different for Thor, and I think it took it in a really interesting and good direction, and it does kind of stand out from other Marvel movies.
Yeah, it definitely stands out from the art direction and the style and the music throughout the movie. They really stepped it up in that sense. So Thor is actually a really cool character. I mean, he's the god of lightning, so he should be really cool. But they really pushed him in this movie, and it made the whole movie experience.
Yeah, the director in this movie, he did a really good job of kind of taking control of this character and this world. It definitely doesn't feel completely as formulaic as some of the other Marvel movies. As you can tell, this was his vision, and they kind of let him do what he wants to do with it. And that does make it kind of feel unconnected with some of the other Marvel movies, especially in its tone. But I think it was really as a fun movie.
And the one con I would have to say, the villain in this movie, Helena, she comes, she wants to destroy, and she's just not very developed all Marvel villains are. It's hard.
It does suffer from that. It's the same kind of issue with a lot of other Marvel movies where the villain is just a bad person that just wants to destroy the universe because they're bad. I did like that in Spider-Man we had Vulture, who kind of had a little more depth, had a little more interesting stuff going on with him. But Hela was just another kind of throwaway, really big, bad character.
It's really cool to see the Hulk in this movie. Again, I forgot what happened to him. But I really love Mark Ruffalo. I really love his version of Hulk, and I like Thor and him together. They had great chemistry.
Yeah, the movie does take a turn to be almost like a buddy cop type movie where you have Thor and Hulk together trying to get off this planet, being chased by Jeff Goldblum. And it is kind of cool to see Hulk as a character. He's not just the Incredible Hulk that's just smashing things. He does have more of a character to him. and it is interesting seeing that switch between Bruce Banner and Hulk as different characters. This movie does have a lot of characters thrown into it. You have Valkyrie, who's this woman that's on the planet that Loki and Thor end up landing on. She is also an Asgardian who fought against Hela, so she has some stakes in it. Her character is somewhat interesting, but it's kind of just an added character to the movie, along with some funny little characters that are thrown in throughout the movie that add a little bit of levity, and it keeps the humor going. It never really gets that serious in the movie, and while that was really fun, it does kind of take away from how you feel about it. Like, the stakes are kind of big in it, but they're just joking the whole time, so I would have to say, I mean, it's fun, but it could have been better.
So I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. I know it seems like we were knocking this movie. It's a good Marvel movie. I highly suggest go see it if you have not seen it. Thor is back. He's better than ever. It wipes away that second Thor movie, and it gets you pumped for maybe what the other Marvel movies are going to be when they all come together again. So I highly suggest go see it.
Yeah, I'm also probably going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a well-made movie. I thought it was interesting, the new direction they took Thor in. It was more of a Guardian style, and I really like the Guardians movies. I feel like this is on par with Guardians 2 for me. I feel the same about that movie. I think that it's good, and I think it's a good addition to the MCU. And even while it doesn't entirely fit perfectly into it like some of the other ones did, this kind of felt like a more standalone movie, like almost like an Ant-Man type deal. It was really good, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Alright guys, this is our review of Thor Ragnarok. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think of Thor. Where does it fall in the MCU for you? And don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya!
Bye!